You know that feeling when someone slowly starts slipping away? They never tell you directly. They don't have to. It happens quietly, almost invisibly. The replies get shorter. The conversations feel forced. The long silences stretch between words like empty space, and the energy that once felt warm, safe, and familiar begins to turn cold. You can feel it deep in your chest before your mind even catches up, and your heart, it aches to do something, to reach out, to fix it, to explain, to remind them of everything that used to feel effortless. You want to believe that maybe, if you just show how much you care, they'll come back. But here's the truth, no one really tells you. The more you chase someone who's already drifting away, the faster they run. And it's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you said the wrong thing or missed some secret test. It's because they've stopped feeling the weight of your presence. When your time, your attention, your energy, your presence is always there, always offered, always free, it loses its gravity. They stop noticing it, stop valuing it, stop craving it. And here's where most people get it wrong. They panic, they chase, they try harder, talk more, explain more, give more, but that only pushes the other person further away. This isn't about playing games or pretending you don't care. It's not about being cold or detached for the sake of pride. It's about power, the quiet, grounded, masculine kind of power, the kind that doesn't beg for attention, doesn't crumble under rejection, doesn't try to force what's already slipping away. It's the kind of presence that draws people back. Not through effort, but through absence. So let me break it down for you. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about begging or chasing or hoping someone eventually sees your worth. It's about becoming the person they remember, the person they miss, the person who commands respect even in silence. Because when you stop pouring all of your energy into someone who's no longer showing up for you, something powerful happens. The dynamic shifts. And suddenly, you're no longer the one they take for granted. You're the one they're afraid to lose. Point 1. They're not confused. They got comfortable. When someone starts to pull away, we tell ourselves stories to soften the blow. We convince ourselves they're confused, overwhelmed, busy, that maybe if we just give them time, they'll come back. But here's the truth, most people don't want to face. They're not confused. They're comfortable. They've grown comfortable with the idea that you'll always be there. Your attention, your love, your loyalty. They've started treating it like a guarantee instead of a gift. They've stopped showing up for you because deep down, they believe you'll keep showing up for them, no matter how distant they become. And this is where so many people make the mistake of chasing. You feel the distance, the coldness creeping in, and your first instinct is to close the gap, to reach out, to explain, to fix. But the harder you chase, the more certain they become that they already have you, and the more they pull away. The solution isn't to beg for clarity or to fight for their attention. It's to interrupt their comfort. It's to allow the silence to grow, to let your absence speak, to remind them, without saying a word, that your presence was never a permanent guarantee. It was a privilege, because the moment they start feeling like they already have you, that no matter how they show up, you'll still be there, is the moment they stop putting in effort. But when you take your energy back, when you stop pouring yourself into someone who's no longer showing up for you, everything changes. Suddenly, you're no longer the easy option. You're no longer the fallback, the constant, the one they assume will always be available. You become the one they're afraid to lose, and that fear, that uncertainty, is what brings respect back into the dynamic. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing. But I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. Point 2. Attraction. Dies in predictability. One of the fastest ways to lose someone's interest, without even realizing it, is by becoming predictable. and it happens quietly, with good intentions. You text first every time. You always say yes. You're available at their convenience. You think you're showing love, but what you're really doing is betraying yourself. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Humans crave mystery. We're drawn to what we can't fully understand. It's in our nature to chase what feels just slightly out of reach. But when every part of you is accessible, when your attention is always guaranteed, when your emotions are predictable, there's no space left for curiosity. No spark, no tension, no polarity. Without that emotional contrast, the dance between closeness and distance, the connection starts to feel flat, safe, expected, and eventually dull. So how do you shift that? How do you bring back the gravity, the pull, the intrigue? You stop being so obvious, not to play games, but to restore your value, to remind them that your time, your energy, your heart, those are privileges, not entitlements. Let them feel uncertain again. Let them wonder. Let them sit in the silence and question where they stand with you. The version of you that once gave so much without hesitation, that version goes quiet, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because predictability is the slow death of attraction. But space creates tension, and tension creates gravity, and suddenly your absence starts doing what your words never could, making them realize what they've been taking for granted all along. Point 3. Your energy is the message. You don't have to say a single word for others to feel the shift inside you. People pick up on changes in your energy long before you ever type a text or open your mouth. When you consciously pull your energy back, when you stop sending constant updates, when you stop reacting to every trigger, when you stop feeding into the exhausting cycle of chasing and responding, everything begins to change. The silence no longer feels empty, it grows louder, filled with meaning. Your absence becomes a powerful statement all on its own, and believe me, they notice. Even if they act like nothing's different, even if they pretend they don't care, on a deeper energetic level, they feel it. The space you create by stepping back unsettles them because it's a signal they can't control or ignore. It interrupts the familiar dynamic and forces a new kind of awareness, one that words could never achieve. The real secret is to stop trying to explain or justify yourself through words or gestures. Instead, let your peace speak for you. Let your calm, steady silence be the message that carries the weight of your worth. Let the presence of the new, improved you, the version who no longer depends on their validation or approval, be the message loud and clear. Sometimes the most powerful I've moved on isn't announced, argued, or declared. Sometimes it's the quiet, undeniable shift in your energy that says more than any conversation ever could. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you hold your boundaries, and the way you continue to grow and thrive without them that sends the strongest signal. That silence, that space, that absence, it speaks volumes and commands respect in a way no words ever will. Point 4. You're not waiting, you're rebuilding. This moment right now is not a waiting room, it's a rebuilding phase. Too many people fall into the trap of thinking that if they just stay silent long enough, if they simply wait patiently and do nothing, the person they want will eventually come back. But that mindset is passive, and passivity is poison. Waiting without growth only deepens the gap and drains your energy. Silence alone is not a magnet. It's a void that eventually gets filled by something else, often by the very absence of you. What actually makes someone come back isn't silence or patience, it's growth. Growth is magnetic. Growth signals strength, value, and transformation. The person they left behind was still becoming. They were unfinished, unsure, and searching for themselves. But now is your time to rebuild. Quietly, consistently, deliberately, without waiting for their validation or approval. Build new habits that serve you. Strengthen your routines so they ground you. Sharpen your mind with knowledge and clarity. Nourish your body to feel strong and vibrant. Calm your spirit with peace and purpose. Do this not to impress them, but because you owe it to yourself to become the fullest version of who you're meant to be. Don't waste time looking over your shoulder or wondering if they're watching. Your work is for you, not for them. When they do look back, and many will, What will hit them hardest won't be your absence. It will be the undeniable evidence of your transformation. The way you grew beyond the old you, the way you leveled up in every area of your life without waiting for their permission or presence, that silent, powerful evolution says more than any conversation ever could. It's a message of self-respect and unshakable worth. It's the ultimate statement that your value isn't dependent on anyone else's choice to stay or leave. When you rebuild like this, you don't just reclaim your power, you become someone impossible to ignore. Point 5. They're not coming back until you stop needing it. Here's the ultimate paradox that few talk about. The very second you start needing someone to come back, they won't. Neediness, no matter how subtle, creates an invisible pressure that pushes people away rather than pulling them closer. When you cling to the hope of their return, when your happiness depends on their choice, you lose the magnetic power that naturally draws people in. Desperation and dependence are repellents, not attractors. But something extraordinary happens when you finally stop caring about the outcome. When you genuinely let go, not just on the surface, but deep inside, the energy between you shifts in a way that words can't explain. They begin to feel something different, something they haven't experienced in a long time. Your absence without expectation. It's a presence defined by peace, not need. A quiet strength that says, I am whole with or without you. When you stop needing their validation, you step into your own power. When you stop craving their attention, you become magnetic in the truest sense. This isn't about pretending to be indifferent or playing games. It's about healing so profoundly that their presence becomes optional, a bonus, not a necessity. At this point, your sense of worth and peace no longer depend on their return or rejection. If they come back, that's great. But if they don't, that's even better, because your happiness and inner calm aren't hanging by a thread, waiting for their decision. Your foundation is unshakable, built on self-love, self-respect, and emotional freedom. This kind of power doesn't scream or beg for attention. It quietly commands respect. It draws people back effortlessly, not through force or manipulation, but through the irresistible energy of someone who has healed, grown, and reclaimed their life. When you stop needing, you stop chasing. And when you stop chasing, you become the person who's truly magnetic. That's the energy that lingers in the air, the energy that leaves a lasting impression, the energy that ultimately changes everything. Point 6. Don't block them. Let them watch. This might sound counterintuitive or even harsh at first, but hear me out. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not block them. You don't always need to cut someone off completely to reclaim your power. In fact, giving them a quiet window to observe your evolution from afar can be one of the most profound moves you make. Blocking can often feel like a punishment or a final act of anger, a way to slam the door shut on the past. But it also closes off the possibility for them to witness the incredible transformation happening within you. Allowing them subtle, indirect access to your life without any direct contact or engagement sends a far deeper message than silence or outright rejection ever could. They get to see your life moving forward, your glow up unfolding in real time, your confidence and joy growing day by day, and none of it includes them. That realization that you're thriving without them cuts far deeper than any angry message or heated confrontation. It places them on the outside, powerless to influence or interrupt your progress. They become the silent witnesses to your rise, standing on the sidelines while you claim the life you deserve. But here's what's crucial. You're not doing this to spite them or to make them jealous. You're not putting on a show or performing for an audience. You're simply living your truth, authentically, unapologetically, and unapologetically moving forward. There's no need for revenge, no craving for validation, no reactive energy, just real, steady progress fueled by your own self-worth and inner peace. And the most beautiful part? This is all for you. Every moment of growth, every success, every burst of joy isn't to prove something to them. It's a declaration to yourself that you matter, that you are enough, and that your happiness does not depend on anyone else's presence or approval. Let them watch as you rise, not out of spite, but out of self-love. Let them witness your transformation, not because you want their recognition, but because you've chosen yourself, your healing, your growth, and your peace above all else. In doing so, you reclaim your power in the most profound and lasting way possible. Point 7. When they return, it's a decision, not a celebration. Let's say they do come back. They reach out after the distance, after the silence. They tell you they miss you, that they want to talk, to reconnect, to rebuild what once was. At first glance, this might feel like a victory, like the finish line after a long race. It can be tempting to treat their return as a celebration, a confirmation that your efforts worked, that you've won them back. But the truth is, it's not a celebration. It's a critical moment of evaluation for both of you. This is the moment where your growth will truly be tested. Don't let the flood of old emotions or hope cloud the progress you've made. This is the time to stand firm in your new reality and ask yourself the questions that matter most. Have they truly changed? Not just in words, but in actions? Have they taken genuine responsibility for the past mistakes and the distance they created? Have they shown real effort to grow, to understand, to make amends? Or are they simply reaching out because they miss the comfort and familiarity you once provided, because the grass wasn't greener elsewhere? Remember, you are not the same person you were when this all began. You are stronger, more aware, and deeply rooted in your self-worth. You no longer need the validation, the attention, or the approval that once controlled your feelings. You've evolved beyond that. If she comes back, she is not stepping back into the same old story, the same dynamic that once left you feeling uncertain and chasing her. She is entering a new chapter, one defined by your higher standards, clear boundaries, and an unshakable sense of self-respect. And this time, it's not about her wanting back in. It's about you deciding if she belongs in this new version of your life. You have the power to say yes or no based on what you've built, on who you've become. You don't chase anymore, you choose, and that changes everything. When they return, it's not a sign that everything is back to how it was. It's a chance for you to evaluate whether their growth matches yours, whether their intentions are real and aligned with your values. This is where many fall back into old patterns, but the whole point of this journey is to be unshaken, to be steady, clear, and unwavering regardless of the outcome. Because ultimately, this journey wasn't about forcing someone to miss you or begging for their return. It was about rediscovering your own worth, your power, and your peace. It was about becoming so whole and confident that their presence is optional, never essential. You build a life that doesn't depend on someone else's validation, a life where your happiness is self-generated and your peace unbreakable. If this message resonates with you deeply, drop the word unshaken in the comments. Not for them, but for you. A reminder that real power isn't loud or desperate. Real power doesn't chase or plead. Real power is magnetic, grounded, and silent, born through consistent growth, deep healing, and an unshakable peace that no one can take away. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.